And good evening from the UK. It's Inception Podcast, and welcome. I have a wonderful guest this evening for a conversation. I will introduce you to him in a second. First of all, I'd like to say to find my podcast, you'll find it on Forbidden Knowledge News Network, where you can find and view amazing, inspirational, and conscious expanding interviews and topics. On the Forbidden Knowledge News Network, we have Beyond Classified, Forbidden Knowledge News, Day Zero, Dawson Time, Raised by Giants, Understanding Propaganda, and Reading My Autocue. You guys know me. And of course, the Inception Podcast. So thank you for watching and supporting. Hello, Mohamed. Good evening.
Hello, Gloria. Good evening.
Would you like us to, before we start our conversation, give a brief bio about who you are, what you do in Egypt?
Okay. Look, Egypt is 1 million kilometers square, okay? But we live only on 7%. Okay. So all the Egyptians live alongside the River Nile, either from the east or the west. So I'm one of these millions Egyptians who live next to the Nile River. And when I say this, the backside of our houses, guess what? The Egyptian antiquities, pyramids, temples. So I grew up watching Saqqara pyramids and Abu Sir pyramids, the Ashur pyramids from our windows, especially the window of our kitchen.
Wow.
Yeah, so when I was almost 10 years old, my school took me to a school trip, which was very short to drive because I am from a city called Badrashin. Badrashin is the main city for Memphis, Saqqara, Abu Sir, Dashur, Abu Jarab, and some other small sites. So they took us to Saqqara. And the first site we visited in Saqqara is the Serapeum, the underground tunnel with the massive size of granite boxes. So as if something like a kind of energy maybe, or a kind of power made me feel completely attracted to the site and attracted later to the Egyptian civilization in general. So I decided to become a tour guide. It was a choice between a tour guide or an archaeologist, because we do have the two colleges in Egypt. But I decided to go to the college to become a tour guide. And when I say tour guide, I must explain something important, that there are maybe hundreds of thousands of tour guides all over the world. But the Egyptian tour guide is completely different. Is like very qualified person in the field of history, antiquities, because we study for 4 years. We have a bachelor degree in the Egyptian civilization. But now this is the main difference between archaeologist or Egyptologist and tour guide. Egyptologist, who is also a qualified person, but he studied only ancient Egypt. Tour guide studied ancient Egypt, studied Greco-Roman Egypt, studied Coptic Egypt, Islamic Egypt, modern Egypt, plus ancient Egyptian language, Egyptian art, Egyptian religion. So I can always say that tour guide have a very good look or a bigger picture than anybody else.
I think that's wonderful. I think I would say you're more qualified to speak on Egypt. Yes. I would say more qualified. I would say that. And I would also say, what a playground you grew up in. I'm so jealous. I mean, magnificent part of the world to grow up in. And on that description, I would then bring into the conversation, because you said you went down into the tunnels, and whether it was energy or whatever it was that attracted you to get into the ancient civilization and languages and history of Egypt, I would say there was a very conscious connection to your past to now. So now on the back of that, because I'm trying to be very clever here, I'm going to open the first door to the podcast and ask you, from your personal truth, Mohamed, with such the rich background that you have, what is the human experience? What is this human experience me and you are experiencing? What is it? From my perspective, I say I am consciousness, a spirit, God consciousness, having a human experience. That's just my truth. We've all got different truths. But coming from your rich background, what is a human experience, Mohamed?
Look, I believe that as a human, all what we need to know, in my opinion, are two things. We need to know who we are. So when we understand who we are, we're going to reach the second thing, that what we shall do. What is our purpose?
Okay.
So by knowing our identity, we will know our mission. And I think the ancient Egyptians are, they left for us so many details about this, and they left for us so many evidences and stories to tell us who we are, and who, or in general, who is the human being, and what is the mission of the human.
Could you share that? Is that your truth now? Do you have to, if you agree with that truth, could you share that truth with the audience, please? What is that?
It's a long story. Okay.
I know, I don't want the whole story, but basically, you know, just share, you know, section it down slightly.
Okay, let me tell you that short story, and then I will explain the story. I had a small group in 2012.
Yeah.
And the group was a spiritual group, okay, and the people were in a high level of spirituality. Yeah. And I must admit that my studies were very academic style.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is not bad, by the way. This was very good for me. So I have what I call it solid ground. But from that ground, I started to find what is approved, what is accepted, what is denied, what is logical, what is it's not. Okay, because some other people who didn't have this solid base, maybe they lose their way easily. So they will start the right path, but maybe in the midway they make a wrong turn or something. Okay, so about spirituality and about stargates, so many of my talks, it was in my heart, but it wasn't on my tongue for a long time. Okay, because I wasn't, let's say I wasn't ready, or I wasn't, I'm not sure, but I didn't start talk about it before the last 2 years, after the COVID-19, which I see it as something not bad. Okay.
No. At the right time, at the right place, it will happen.
So one of the ladies of that group, she asked me, Mohammed, who you are? So immediately I said, I am Mohammed. She said, no, this is your name, who you are. I said, I'm Egyptian. She said, this is your nationality. I said, I am your tour guide. She said, this is your job.
Yes.
So I couldn't convince her or answer her question. Okay. But now I can tell you who I am and who is everybody. Okay? And I'm going to use the beliefs and the theory of the ancient Egyptians themselves. So that story is not mine. This is the ancient Egyptian belief. They understood that the human being is 5 things.
Okay.
Yeah. The first thing is the name, and then the soul, the body, the spirit, and the light, or the akh. Okay. So they say that before you get born, they choose your name. But who actually chooses your name? Your parents, like in some religious countries, they say God, or other people, they say higher power, or the divine, or yourself. Okay. I agree that the 3 of them, but it must be approved by the person himself.
Yeah.
And someone will ask me how. The person is not born yet.
Yeah, go on.
Then we come to the second part of the body, which is the soul. So if I ask someone, how old are you? They will say, I am 40 years old. Is this how old? I didn't tell him exactly how old what? How old your body, or how old your soul? Okay, so your body is 40 years old.
Yeah.
But what about your soul? We cannot answer this question, because the soul can be thousands of years old, maybe millions of years old.
Yeah.
And the body is terrestrial, the soul is extraterrestrial.
Yeah.
They live somewhere. So the soul of the person will agree to come to earth with this name, to this body, okay, to these conditions.
Wow.
Okay. Number 3, the body. So the body, as we know, it is elements from earth, okay, combined together and created the human body. And the first day will be a baby, and then later a small or a child, and then an adult, and then old man or woman, and then the cycle of life for the body. Okay. As I said the soul is extraterrestrial, unlimited. And when I say unlimited, it means unlimited.
Unlimited. I hear you. Yeah.
The body is terrestrial and limited.
Yeah.
So when the unlimited goes inside the limited, it becomes limited. But sometimes what we call it gifts, it's not a gift. It is actually one of the natural abilities.
Yeah.
Okay. So we are all Superman and Superwoman.
Absolutely.
But some people naturally have some features activated. Some people try to activate these gifts or these abilities by training, by understanding, by reading, by fasting. You know, there are so many ways to activate. And sometimes some people, they manage to activate 50%, 10%, 100%. It is vary from each other. Okay. Here is something very important. So we say the name, and the ancient Egyptian call it Ren, and then the soul, Ba, and then the body, Get, and what happens when the soul goes into the body? Another aspect will be created, which is the spirit.
Yeah.
We call it the Ka. Okay. So the Ka is half physical, half spiritual. And the Ka is the way to make a link between the Ba and the Get, between the soul and the body. Without this, they will not be able to deal with each other. Okay. So how come you convince the unlimited to deal with the limited and the extraterrestrial? The Ka, the spirit, is the middleman who trying to, but the Ka sometimes trying to feed the needs of the soul, and other times try to feed the needs of the body.
Yeah, I hear you.
Also, in my talk about this subject, I give advices to the people how to train the Ka and how to make the Ka become more spiritual and less physical. Because if the Ka is more physical, then many things and maybe bad things will happen, like to be greedy, to be selfish, to do crimes. Okay.
I love that interpretation. It resonates. I say it totally different. But you know, I have a love of Egypt, so when I just hear in the language, I just resonate with the language. That was beautifully explained of. And, you know, I mean, the way I define the human being, I suppose it could be, one would say, well, it's very cold and, you know, not passionate. And the way you've just described what is a human experience? What is the human experience, the beingness? You've done 2 doors in one there, which is wonderful. That was beautiful. And that was magical. And I love that.
Now we come to number 5. Number 5, it doesn't exist on Earth. So the first 4 exist on our lifetime. Number 5, it is after during the second life. So when the soul decides that no more for the limited body and leaves up to the sky, it will remain as soul, as Ba, first sky, second sky, third, 7th sky. So, but now there is a condition. If the soul is quite positive and cooperative with all the other elements, it will cross the sky number 7 and change to Akh. Okay, Akh, which is light. Some people, they say Akh means glory, but I call it light. That's why when we say Akhin Aton, they explain it wrongly. They say the one who is loyal to atom. No, this is the light of atom. Atom, the light of atom, or the glory of atom.
Can you hear that? Can you hear that, Mohamed?
Yes. There's someone in another apartment is doing some.
That's okay. Long as we know what it is, that's fine. Go on. Go on. Okay.
Okay. So is the last call it level, or let's say the last transformation for the person. Okay. That's why here in Egypt, when you forget something, okay, and I believe maybe in Middle East, most of the people when you forget something and then you remind him or her, they will say like this.
Oh yeah, I never thought of that. Wow.
They don't understand what they are doing.
No, half the time we don't.
But when I see them doing this, I tell him, why do this? Because they said it means brother, like brother, I need your help. I said, no, that is not correct. Is light, and this is the third eye. So you are sending light to the third eye.
Wow. Well, Mohamed, that was an absolutely amazing, narration of what is the human experience. You've also added in there door 2. We go through door 2 to go down the rabbit hole. Is who am I? You've incorporated it all in that. So that's beautiful. And I'm really excited now for the conversation to go through door number 3, because on the back of that, I'm loving this. So why are you here then, Mohamed, with all that you're knowing that you know, you've explained it all. Why have you come here to experience being this human being? Why?
So you mean why I'm here in this moment?
Yes, why did you come? You know, like you've just, I'm sorry, I didn't explain it correctly. You've explained that who the human is, the human experience, and you know, the 5 and you know, the 7 and to the light. You've explained that. I've got that. So why did you come here, Mohamed? Why are you here? Why did your soul, what is the context from your truth, no one else's truth, your truth? Why are we here now?
Okay, I understand the question now. As I told you, the choice of the soul. Okay. There are, in my opinion, millions of souls didn't agree to come, didn't agree to be here. Yeah. They say, no, we are happy there.
We don't want to go to hell. Yeah, go on.
Because as I told you, the soul is unlimited, and the soul was able to understand what is going to happen. And the soul, some souls like us, agreed to become part of the limited body.
Yeah.
To come inside the limited, maybe thinking that it can accomplish the mission. Okay, so and some they do and some they don't. Okay, so what is the mission? I think my soul said, okay, I want to go to this life or to this dimension. The mission is to be one, or let's say to deal in harmony with nature.
Wow.
Okay. And that is nature. That word is ancient Egyptian word, neter, which later they explain it wrongly as God. No, neter is nature. The sun is nature, the moon is nature, the sky, the trees. So is to come and have a harmonical treatment or system with nature. And in my opinion, to restore the system, to restore the mind, that is the Egyptian word for system. And when I say the system, I'm talking about the precise system connecting everything with everything.
Wow.
Like we always say, if the sun is close 1 centimeter to Earth, it will burn Earth. If it is far away 1 centimeter, we will be frozen. So that is the system. Everything, timing, space, location, size.
Absolutely.
Okay. So this is my feeling. Why I'm here is to fit or to be part of the group who is fixing this system.
Wow, I think that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. I love that. Wow. Okay, right. So now we're going to go into door number 4. This is all about consciousness, which we are part of. Door number 4 is on the back of that. I love that explanation. So then, Mohamed, what is this reality that we've come into? I mean, I'm going to try and put it into context. You know how we try to work out what we're in? I mean, obviously, it's a 3D reality. We have Newtonian laws, up, down, left, right, a polarity. We're aware of that, but we're in an era now where I describe it as the dream world, like a dream. I've come in to experience whatever my purpose or whatever I'm supposed to do. And because I have an awareness of, say, quantum physics and sacred geometry, the platonic solid, I'm aware what reality in material form is made of. So I know it's consciousness as well. Some people say simulation. Some people say, from your truth, of all that you've just spoken, what is this reality? Is it a game? Is it a dream? From your truth, what do you think it is, this reality we're experiencing?
It's a test. I see it as a big test.
Okay.
Reality, in my opinion, depends on knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you have the knowledge, your reality will be different from the others.
I love that. Law of attraction. I love it. You go, oh, I love Mohamed. Go on. Yeah.
Because when you look to things with certain kind of knowledge or level of knowledge, and the others have more or less,
yeah,
you will start seeing something they don't see,
yeah,
or you don't see what they see, and then reality will change. I will tell you something very interesting about the ancient Egyptian art. Okay. And most of the scholars didn't understand why they do this. When they represent one person in front of another person, both will be the same size, which makes sense, okay? But when they represent 100 persons behind each other, according to our understanding, we call it the 3D dimension. So they must be the first one big, the second smaller, right? The ancient Egyptian didn't do this. They represent all of them the same size. Because in my opinion, they didn't do the carvings or the paintings through their eyes. They closed their eyes.
Wow.
And they used their brain. This person is the same size like this, yes. So don't use your eyes. Use your belief. Wow. So they didn't use the 3D, the third dimension. They used the reality.
You know, I take that's really resonated with me. I'm going to slightly digress here because, as you know, I'm an artist and I do paint. You know, Egyptian, whatever comes out of me. You know, just comes out of my consciousness. And when I do Thoth and things like that, and the Eye of Horus, and when I'm doing it, and as you can see behind me, I'm fully consciously aware. That's like a 2D. It's not as I mean, when I paint like the platonic solids and other things, it's all 3D, different shapes, one's behind. But like I say, if you look at that, it's flat. It's flat. Yeah, but I've never had that awareness of that, Mohamed. I questioned it. Why is it like that? This is 3D. I've never ever got. Thank you so much. Wow.
And not only this, but also they look to things from certain view. Okay. Again, when I use the size or the shape of the human, they look to the face from the side. Okay. Yes. The shoulders from the front, the neck from the side, the thighs or the legs from the side, the feet. So as if they are trying to tell us, you must target the beautiful parts of the body in the perfect direction. Okay. And you know what? We have the same thing is happening every day through your eyes and your brain. What it is, when you look to things, okay, and you see it like anything in front of you, light normally takes the picture. One will be like the surrounding light will go to your eyes, and will create an upside down picture.
Yes, yeah.
So if there is no brain, you will see it this way, upside down.
Yeah.
But your brain is correcting the picture. So that is what I am trying to explain. That
it shows you really how, well, how do you articulate this? When I said, what is reality? I mean, the way you've interpreted that, coming from the eyes of the Egyptians, which is, I just resonate now. I just got light bulb moments. I'll have to, think about how I describe my truth now, because that's made a lot of sense to me about the individual perceiver. I'm fully aware that I create my reality because I'm consciously aware of who I am. But that takes it to another level and allows me to understand more why others perceive it different, even though I'm aware why, social determinants, belief systems, blah, blah, blah. But there's another level you've took this to that I'm going to have to ponder on and use a bit of discernment. I mean, you've just taught me something else again. And I'm grateful for that. However, it's not about me. Yes, it is. No, it's not. Let's go. That was beautiful. Right. On the back of that, Mohamed, we're going to door number 5. We're halfway down the rabbit hole. We've camped out at the bottom. Do you have mint tea? I used to love mint tea when I was in North Africa. Gallons of mint tea. I have mint tea down there, okay? And we're going to go really deep down the rabbit hole and have this conversation. On the back of everything you've just beautifully explained, from your truth, who is E.T.? Now, E.T. I use as an umbrella. It could be angels, it could be grey Palladians, it could be star people, whatever the label is. From your truth, who is this E.T. we're interacting with? Who is it?
Okay. Now, nobody asked me this question before. And you must understand that I in the field I work with many groups with different beliefs. I work with people who believes in physical things only. They don't believe in spiritual things, and I believe I have the other group. They are, and then the third group who believes with the extraterrestrial. So, but no one asked me this question before.
It's always the first time.
Look, my belief about the ET, or if I can add to the word, I can put between brackets the word netter, N-T-R.
Yes.
So can equal ET. So what is the netter or the ET, in my opinion?
Yeah.
Look, recently I talk about stargates, and I talk about extraterrestrials, and I talk about stars. Okay, but what I'm confident about, there are certain kind of energies, energy, or many types of energies comes from the stars.
Yeah.
But for sure there are other beings. Okay, and also I am confident about some of these beings, like as I told earlier, our souls, or not ourselves, the souls who didn't come to the physical, the materialistic dimension. And it must be a kind of, if we can call it, angels, okay? And maybe also us or our ancestors, who because I believe with the golden age of the early human, I don't agree at all that human developed. No, they were created with masterminds.
Yes.
So we are losing knowledge. We are not gaining knowledge.
Go on. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. So maybe our ancestors, like they live somewhere outside the galaxy or outside in the far, and they are visiting us. Okay. Yeah. Like I visit my family.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. And I believe that so this is, if we can talk about the ET or the knitter. Okay. But my guessing that if we talk about higher level, there is the one major power, or I don't like to call it major because it must be minor. So the power, or sometimes that, like we call it God or divine.
Yeah.
Okay. So from one, and then we have the umbrella of the ETs or the knitters.
Brilliant, and that's beautiful, and I resonate with that as well. And I love the fact, I like how you call the netter, which is nature. Yeah,
yes.
I'm learning Egyptian. I can speak the other Arabic. I'm learning Egyptian Arabic now. Netter.
But when I say nature, also the word nature here is bigger than the nature we have in our earth. It is like the nature of the universe, the whole universe.
Yes, the completion. I get that. I mean, another one of my truths is I have an awareness now that I didn't have before, is that I know I'm this nature. I know I'm not walking on Mother Nature. I am Mother Nature. I have this awareness now that everything I am connected. I'm not separate from. So the polarity is gone. But you've taken that to a whole new level, and it just resonates.
You allow me to add something?
Yes, go.
So many people also, in my opinion, they misunderstand why we see a human body with a head of a falcon. Why we see and the other examples. You just said in my opinion, you said the right thing, that you are Mother Nature. I am Mother Nature.
Yeah.
So the head of the falcon above a human body is to send us this message.
Yeah.
The head of the falcon, it has all the abilities of the falcon, but it is on you, on your human body.
Yes.
The cow, the vulture. Okay, so we have all these. So yes, we are major part of nature.
Yeah, I a lot of that awareness was through self-reflection, self-inquiry. However, because I'm a lover of Egypt and the hieroglyphs, and as I was drawing and painting, and if I'm drawing Thoth with the bird head and all this, but somehow it didn't seem wrong to put an animal head on the bottom. I'm painting them, so it wasn't going against. And as the vibration I was going in, this is this is the connection. So as I was painting, I was getting a symbolic, maybe, understanding of the information coming through. So I so resonate with that as well, Mohamed. Oh my God, this is fantastic. Okay, right. We really have touched on this. However, we're going through door number 6, and I would like you to expand, if you can, on everything we've spoke about. It may seem obvious, the answer, but I want to see, even if you come from the Egyptian, because it's about Egypt, obviously, interpretation of this. How are we connected to them? Now, I have experiences with other beings from wherever it is they are. It could be me. It could be from the past, the future. I don't know. But I know I'm experiencing other beings, okay? I have experienced Akhenaten, one of the most profound experience. I can't even articulate it. And in the energy of this, I knew I was connected, but not with a rational mind. It wasn't an analytical, academic genealogy. No, there was something. So I have, from my truth, that we are connected. I'll just say consciousness, because I really am not aware enough yet to go deeper into the deeper levels of it. So coming from your truth, give it up, Mohamed, just share it, right? Because I'm loving this, Mohamed. I'm going to adopt you now. You're adopted. How are we then connected to these beings?
That is a great question. Okay, hear this from me. We are all already connected. Okay. One of my, if I can call it crazy opinion, but I believe it is true. Good. We are all Egyptians. Maybe not this Egypt we are talking about, okay? It was another shape of ancient Egypt, maybe bigger ancient Egypt, maybe global ancient Egypt, okay? But in my beliefs, and this belief is not just ideas or so, there are some kind of evidences that one day all our ancestors used to live together in a place called Egypt or Kemet, okay? That is the ancient name. And later they started to, because of disasters, because of normal style of life changing. So a tribe left north and another tribe east, west, okay? And then we have what we have nowadays, the continents and Africa, Europe. Yeah. Okay, so we are already connected, but we don't know. Some people, they know or sometimes some people, they feel it, and the levels are also different, okay? Yeah. So if you allow me to correct the question, how we activate this connection.
Oh, I love that. I thank you for correcting me. Go on, go with it, Mohamed.
Okay. So number one is to be close to them. Either take any chance to visit a museum, either in your homeland, or read about them. So the first step to get close or to know more about them. Okay. Look, and I'm not saying read specific thing. No, read anything.
Yeah.
So if you just know a name, will be good. Will be a good step. If you know that there was a king called Akhenaten, later you will know more about Akhenaten.
Yes.
If you know that there is a king called Ramses, you will know more about Ramses. And when you know more about Ramses or Akhenaten, and then you will know more about the style of life, and then may you have a book about art or about architecture or about magic, and the knowledge will expand. Okay.
Absolutely.
When the knowledge will expand, you will find yourself reading some interesting facts, like the ancient Egyptian used to dress linen.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you dress like them, or like, of course, maybe not the same costume, but the same material, and try to eat like them, try to do some kind of medical treatment like them, okay, I can guarantee in a short time you will start feeling the connection.
You know, Mohamed, I've got to come in here because you've just blown me away by saying that, because there's two things. You said I'm recorrecting your question, or I'm going to say it in a different way. There was a few, I don't know what year it was. I went to the British Museum in London for one thing, and I'd always loved Egyptology. I think Egypt. And I, for the first time ever, the closest I ever will get to Egypt was the Book of the Dead. Okay. And I was very spiritual, and what I heard people saying about the Book of the Dead, I was looking at the hieroglyphs as I paint them now, and I wasn't getting what I was hearing. Okay. And I remember, you just reminded me, I was saying, I'm from Egypt, but I couldn't compute it. I could not compute it at all. My mind wouldn't allow it, but it was there. And I'm telling you, as soon as I got that close to something authentic, it was on loan to the British Museum when I went. Someone might know the year, I can't recall. I kept saying, I'm from Egypt. I come from Egypt. And then obviously it goes, you have them moments. But when you said that activated something. And I remembered I saw the Book of the Dead in the museum. And I like that idea, because you know me. I mean, it's a case of, I found over the years, and more that I've studied through my life, more of a hobby. It's been a hobby. But the more, you're right, the more I've looked, especially artistically, and the ceremonies, the initiations, and I got into the initiations, the magical part of it. It just led me down the path of a knowing, and wow, that was wonderful again.
And I have one advice for the people who are going to listen to this and try to follow my advice. If you visit a museum with an Egyptian section, or read about ancient Egypt, if you love some kind of certain thing, a statue or even a chapter, don't stuck with this. Okay, when it resonates with you, leave it.
Yes,
because you will not lose it.
No.
But read more and more, and then come back to the first thing. You love it. You will see it better. Absolutely. You will feel it better.
I am in total agreement. I mean, through the pharaohs and the kings and everything. And I was reading what people had wrote, the history of each one. And I like that one. I like King Tut, I like Ramesses, and then come Akhenaten. And if I say it wrong, I do apologize. And then I went off here but then I kept going. There was something about Akhenaten and monotheism, the one God, the one. And then I went, okay, there's something more. And then, they defaced his statues. And I'm very curious. I've always been curious. Why? That means he must have been on the right track. And in the end, after going through all of that, it's always Akhenaten and Queen Nefertiti, but Akhenaten. And that it just flew. It took over me until the point I had the experience that I can't even speak about. It was just too awesome. I'm from Egypt.
Sure. I give this advice because they say you see what you know. Okay. Yeah. So if you are visiting a place and some certain places, you will keep doing the same routine and you're going to miss so many.
Oh, you repeat the cycle all the time. Yes. Yeah.
But if you decide to avoid seeing what you know, you will see more and more and more. And then what you know is going to be more understandable for you.
Yeah, I love it. Absolutely. Wow, we are so far down the rabbit hole now. I know we've digressed off slightly, but I'm sure you're going to find this interesting. And Mohamed will be on my live show next year in January, and he's really going to go deep with all this. So I will be there. Yes. Okay, Mohamed, come on. We're going into door number 7. We've got 2 doors left, okay? And in this door, I asked a question. We go in the door, we shut the door. We're having our mint tea. I'm having a coffee now because I need stimulant now. Why at this present time in the 1st of October 2021, why are they here interacting so much with us? They've always been here from the beginning of, whatever. But at the moment, I use the word every podcast, you can see it's exponential what's happening in our reality, in our experiences. So why do you think they're here in such a vibrational presence? And even I will include into that, Mohamed, you, when I saw you come out on the podcast and shows talking about the stargates, that is related to what I'm trying to express here. Everything's expanding. What is hidden will be revealed. So that's the context I handed you to answer the question, why are they here now?
I shall also say that it is not now only. They started 2012.
Yes, I agree with that. I agree. Yeah, 2012.
Okay, yes. So that question is the $1 million question.
Mohamed, you're gonna answer it. Give it your best shot. The whole point of this conversation, no one knows the truth, but by talking and just having a conversation, we're creating the reality. Come on, Mohamed.
Okay, because every subject we talked about is going to be a book in the near future.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to hide information, but sometimes I don't like to talk about it unless I have good idea about what I'm saying.
Okay.
But I'm going to answer this question, and I'm going to tell you why I say COVID is not a bad thing.
Okay.
Also from the beliefs of the ancient Egyptians. They believe that the sun have daily 5 cycles. The cycle of dawn, called Kepler, the scarab, and then the cycle of the morning, Ra, and then the cycle of the noon, Atum, A-T-U-M, and then the cycle of the afternoon, Atun, A-T-O-N, and then the cycle of the evening or the night, Amun. So we witness these cycles every day, right? Now, they believe that there are bigger cycles. Each cycle is 24,000 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Divided to 2 sections, 12,000 and 12,000. 12,000 years, human will be elevated, will be developed. Okay, a great evolution, a great connection with nature, high consciousness, everything in a perfect shape. And then 12,000 years, the curve will go down. And I'm not saying go down, it means primitive people. No, they could be very advanced as physical tools, but not spiritual, not high consciousness. And destroying nature, like what we are doing
now.
Yes. So guess what? The last cycle, Amun, was the cycle ended at 2012.
Yes.
That was the end, not the end of the world as the Mayan said. No. But the Mayan didn't say that. It was the end of the cycle.
They didn't say it was the end of the world. They didn't.
Yes.
No. Yeah.
It was the end of the cycle. So we are moving from the cycle of darkness. We already made that change, but we're still in the beginning, to the cycle of light.
Yeah.
So we can see now.
We can see now. Yeah, I love it.
And every year from 2012, every coming year, we're going to see better and better, and the situation will change. So what about COVID? Look, the transition from cycle to another must have a big disaster.
Absolutely. I must say, guys, I agree with this. I said this when it came out because I knew the time was now, but I agree with you. It had to happen. Better than a bloody flood, Mohamed.
Exactly. Thank you. And that the biggest disaster was when you move from, or the transition from light to darkness.
Yeah.
Because it is
the hardest one.
Yes,
that is to get through.
Exactly. And that is the one was the end of the advanced, or the last advanced Egyptian civilization. It was 9,700 BC or 10,000 BC. So 10,000 BC and 2000 AD, how many years? 12,000 years. So this is the second half of Amun cycle. So now we are in Kibber cycle. That's why all the movements, or why they are here, because the cycle rules, the cycle style is this must happen, light and positive energies.
Absolutely, it's a win-win, guys, for humanity. Please, no fear. It's a win-win. It's a win-win. I love that. Mohamed, I mean, God, I could talk forever to you, but I'd have to kidnap you first, but never mind. Door number 8, bring that into door number 8, the last door. And I'm going to ask the question, why are they interested in us so much now? But I'm going to give a bigger context for that. Myself included, and millions of other beings as well. We are getting information, and they're really giving us uplifting, positive information about the things we're talking about. And I don't have the savior problem. I don't think anyone's coming to save me. I save myself. So we'll get that out of the way. But maybe it's our ancestors or Akhenaten. You know, I just have this thing for Akhenaten. I don't know why. Maybe one day I will. But they seem to be coming through, these beings, no matter what civilization, and giving information to help us to, I could say, awaken, become more consciously aware of who we are. That's my, or for the next, whatever's going to happen, because no one knows. That's my truth at the moment that could change at any time, especially if you're around. I'll change. I've already changed a few truths already. That's my interpretation of why they're so interested in us now. What's from your truth? Why do you think, why do you think they're so interested in us now? I've got to ask this question coming from a Homo sapiens sapien intellectual perspective. Did the Egyptians say this was going to happen? I've got to ask you, Mohamed. Come on, I've got you in a Zoom room. I can't not.
Okay, look, again, if we recall the ancient Egyptian belief about this story, there is one name can solve this problem or can answer the question, which is Mat. Mat or Mat. Okay, Mat as I told you, the system or the cosmic order.
Yeah.
So imagine if we are all part of a big, I don't know the English word, but as Muslims, we have the beads. You know the beads when say Allah, like so. Okay. So imagine that if we are all part of this circle or the beads, okay, and all are acting good except one or two.
Yeah.
Okay. It won't be functioning.
No.
And those one or two maybe had some sharp edges, and because of we're trying to push them, so they will cut the string.
Yeah.
So what will happen? It will fall apart.
Yeah.
Okay. So in my opinion, what they are doing is to try to lead us to the right solutions, teaching us not to help them or to help us, no, to help the system.
The system.
To help the ma'at, to raise the ma'at, to put ma'at in order. Because if one section is wrong, the whole thing will collapse.
Because obviously it's in their benefit as well, is it not?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. I mean, come on, that's logic. It's Homo sapiens sapien, who believe they just are the limited being, tend to think it's all about them. But the way that was beautiful again, Mohamed. The way you've explained that in that analogy with the beads, well, it's obvious. They're going to be here too. Come on, we need to do this because it's going to affect our system because we're one system. That was absolutely beautiful. I loved that. Wow, you see, no, for me. Oh my God, yeah, I love that, Mohamed. So we're coming. We've gone through all the doors. And obviously, this is an Egyptian podcast now because it's my podcast. I can digress slightly away. I want to touch on I know you're going to speak on my live show next year, but I want to touch just briefly before we close. I was so overwhelmed when I heard you mention on Chris's show about the stargates. Would you just, if you could share a little interpretation of the hieroglyphs and how you worked out Stargate 1 or 3 or 8 or 13 and how you interpreted that? If you wouldn't mind, I'd be really grateful.
Look, one of the good things I did in the university, that I learned the ancient Egyptian language in a good way. Yeah. I was a big fan of the language, and I can tell you I became like an assistant teacher of the language. Yeah. And some of my students became teachers of in the university. Okay, so I'm not very old, but I was doing this 20 years ago, even more than 20 years ago, because I have great passion to the language. And guess what? I discovered that we still speak ancient Egyptian language.
Is that the Coptic Egyptian?
No, it is what we say it now.
Really?
Yes, but we don't know. And something else, I can also say, also in a very confident level, that Arabic language is part or the same ancient Egyptian language.
Yeah, I mean, when I used to speak Arabic a good few years ago, and I'd speak to different Lebanese, Palestinians, they understood, but it was a slightly different dialect, a slightly different, what's the
dialect?
word?
Yes, it's dialect, different dialect.
Yeah, the dialect. Yeah. Okay, you go on, yeah.
So ancient Egypt, the ancient Egyptian language, and also another surprise, it is not only the source of Arabic language, it is the source of all the languages.
Yeah.
Okay. Like my son Adam is studying German now.
Yeah.
So I asked him, what is the word for mother in German? He said, Mutter. Or okay, Mutter. What is the word mother in Egyptian? Mut.
Yeah.
And T and D replaceable. So Mut.
I hear you. Wow.
So many similarities between the modern languages and the ancient Egyptian. Okay. So when you read the language, you will find that the ancient Egyptians were brilliant when they put the system of this language. They gave you a word and a picture.
Yeah.
So you will never be confused about the meaning. There is no chances. You have, like when I show you my ID, it has my name, Mohammed, and my picture.
Yeah.
If I hide my picture, you still see my name.
Yeah.
If I hide my name, you still see my picture. So it is two ways to understand the meaning. Okay. So this was an easy way to identify thousands of mistakes and mislabeled symbols. And then when you focus or when you carefully look to the symbol next to the word, you can understand. Even some beginners, when you look to, let's say, a word, you don't understand what does it mean, but the picture is showing someone is putting his hand or fingers inside his mouth.
Mm-hmm.
So you may think that this is something about eating,
mm-hmm.
maybe talking, okay? But you won't think that this is about physics or about mathematics. No, it is eating or talking.
Mm-hmm.
You see someone upside down, so this is falling. Mm-hmm. Even if you cannot read the word, mm-hmm. right? So what about if you can read the word and you can understand the symbol? You will come up with what I call it the truth and deeper meaning. So I realized in some certain places, it is not everywhere. And this is important to mention this. If it is everywhere, it could be an artistic design.
Yeah, yeah.
Used by everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was represented in few places. Okay. So what I saw, the shape of a gate, and it is very clear. I'm not. This is not my own explanation. It is a gate.
Yeah.
Next to it, sometimes just star, or the word star, because we have the star picture.
Yeah.
Okay, like the normal star we know.
Yeah.
And then there is a word called sab, and another word called duat, but they always use the word sab. So sab means star, and sab includes the symbol star. Yeah. So sab and gate.
It's obvious. It's Stargate. It's, yeah.
There is, and one of my friends, he used to come in my tours as a speaker. He was like very angry, like, Mohammed, how you make such claims? I told him, okay, here is the picture. Read it for me.
Yeah.
Like, how can you read this? So he had to read it Stargate.
You have to, obviously.
And then I realized that in other sections or places, they, it's like the Ndara temple, they represented one gate with many stars. So I started to count the stars. Yeah. So I found that the first gate has 8 stars.
Yeah.
And then the second gate has 13 stars. And one gate has some kind of symbols, like what we call it, the jet pillar.
Yeah.
Okay. Another gate has other symbol. So I explained those symbols at the energies necessarily or the required to open the portal or to activate the gate.
Wow.
Okay.
I mean,
so as if they didn't give us also just an address. No, they gave us also the way or the voltage, how to
voltage, the energy frequency. Okay. I mean, you know, I've always, as a hobby, researched, you know, Egypt and everything about it, and the pyramids, and I knew they were, from my limited understanding, for me they were like, I didn't call them stargates. They were like energy portals. I was thinking they were energy portals. There was a connection to something greater. And I remember, you know, as I would go through, and even all the Hollywood films I would watch, I would still pick that up. And I always said, to me, the pyramids were not tombs. I couldn't accept they were tombs. And that was just my truth, and still is my truth. To me, it was more than. To me, it was it would be with the Stargate. It was like an energy. I don't know what happened, or maybe I do, and I've forgotten. But
can I interrupt you?
Yes, good. Do.
Okay. The pyramid was a tomb.
The pyramid was a tomb.
Yes.
The big one.
All of them.
Okay.
But they were not built to be tombs.
Oh yes, I'm with you now. Yeah. That was later.
But okay, exactly. But why? Here, that is also another $1 million question.
Yeah.
Why the king buried himself inside the tomb, the pyramid?
The energy, obviously, because they were built before the kings.
Let me answer the question. If they tell you, look, Gloria, this garden or this green land or this place, or, okay, anything, no, the energies of this site is bringing everything to life. Or this thing is the portal. I'm
going in it.
Right? So that is why.
Yeah. No, now I get you. I mean, I just know that, I mean, obviously on the show next show, you really go into detail. But for me, even though, you know, I never saw them as tombs, and I never thought they was as old as they say they are. And I always thought, no, later on, someone buried the pharaohs in there. I knew there was, like, I couldn't just get my head around it. It was frequency. That's all I knew. But that makes so much sense, Mohamed. You got these pharaohs, and they know what these pyramids are.
They had maybe not all the knowledge, but some of the knowledge.
Some of the knowledge.
So they said maybe, or these sites help the living, so it may help the dead.
I think that's wonderful. Yeah? Well, Mohamed, I am absolutely, it's been an honor and a privilege to have a conversation with you about consciousness. And yes, we digress, and we have to digress to Egyptology or the pyramids, or we have to, because Mohamed's in the room. And I can't thank you enough for sharing your truth today. And I look forward to greeting you on our live UK show in January 2022, where you'll share with the UK audience this and much, much more, and a timeline of the Egyptian civilization. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're very welcome, Gloria.
Thank you. Until next time, everybody. I'm doing my professional bit now again. Inception Podcast can be found on Forbidden Knowledge News Network with Beyond Classified, Dawson Time, Raised by Giants, Day Zero, Understanding Propaganda, and so much more. It's an amazing site. Please go on there. Please share and like the podcast as they come out. Every Friday they're released. It's Friday today. One will be coming out tonight. And so until next time we have a conversation, it's bye to everyone. Bye now.